This instrument is a viola d'amore, viola of love, I suppose. It's funny that they usually have these Cupid figures on the top, which are always blindfolded. I don't know if you can see that. This one's lost one of its wings somewhat, but of course love is blind, and that's the symbolism there. How it got its name, I really don't know. It appears that there were basically two different kinds of d'amore, an early 17th century instrument which is described in Michael Pretorius's Syntagma Musicum. That instrument had wire strings on the top, no sympathetic strings, and I believe just six wire strings. By the late 17th century and certainly into the 18th century, I mean, the sort of instrument you would have had for Bach, 7 strings on the top had developed, but these were not made of wire, these were made of gut, and I've got wound gut as well. And we have 7 sympathetic strings underneath. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. There's a whole other set of strings. And these ones on the top that you play. It's tuned in a chord. Various tunings for the instrument existed, depending on which key you were playing in. I've got this tuned in D minor, but the sympathetics in C minor because of the key of the main aria that we're playing. The sympathetics ring in a sort of ghostly, ethereal way, creating that incredible resonance. As you can see, the instrument is not really constructed like a viola at all. It's much more like a treble viol. It's about the size of a treble viol. And the story behind this shape of sound hole, as opposed to the F holes on a violin, this is known as the flaming sword of Islam, would you believe? Quite interesting that it's taking part in a very, very Christian musical event. But I think the association is with the sympathetic strings and instruments from the East, bowed instruments of various countries from the not Far East, but Middle East and to some extent Near East, and the Indian subcontinent as well. I'm thinking of the sarangi having sympathetic strings. If that's true or not, I don't know, but I believe that's where the association comes from. It was prized in the 18th century just for this sweetness of tone. This rather, glorious sound.